Hey, ladies.
Hey,
Hey, girl. Hey, ladies.
what's going on?
Hey, guys.
Happy Friday.
Happy
Happy
Friday.
Friday. I,
Joya, you must be feeling sassy. I see you, Joya. Joya.
Yeah, every once in a while I gotta use the L. That silent L.
that's funny.
Silent L. I have to use every once in a while.
How's everybody doing? It's Friday. Come on,
Good.
y'all. Come into the room. Coming in.
Welcome,
When you come in, please let us know where you're watching from.
Yes.
Please share. Send it to a friend. Have them subscribe. Follow YLC TV.
Absolutely.
Hey, ladies. How are you today?
Doing good.
We want to welcome everyone to All Things New. Woohoo! And before we say anything, we have to take a special moment to welcome everyone on and thank Elder Mark Moore Jr. for this opportunity to even be on YLC TV. I know you all know him. Mark Moore, who is all things YLC TV. You know him as the visionary and founder of Young Leaders Conference. We know him as our Elder Mark Moore Jr. from Faith Covenant. And we want to take a moment just to thank you for this platform. He's the producer extraordinaire, the genius that makes all things of YLC amazing as it is. And so we wanted to take out a moment to thank you. We totally appreciate you. We appreciate this opportunity. And I want to get started today. I'm so excited about today's show. And I don't know if you've seen our post or if someone sent this to you. Hey, Ms. Wanda. But we are talking today about what keeps you up at night. That's a good question. I'm excited about it because I have been up at night. And oddly enough, I know, right? The three things that I think we posed the question, is it insomnia, is it insecurity, or innovation? Like, are you worried? Are you weary or tired? Or are you working? And I think I've been all three. Like, I have really been all three. I think maybe initially I had insomnia, and then I was worried with everything that was going on. Hey, April. Yes, thank Elder. And then now I think I'm at innovation. I've come full circle on the whole spectrum. Hey, Miss Brianna. It's so good to see everybody.
Yeah.
So let's talk. So I'm gonna give you all an opportunity to plug in where out of those three ideas, where are you? Or those three places? Are you worried? Are you weary and tired? Or are you working in the middle of the night? What say ye?
Well, I'll jump in. You know,
okay.
So I was thinking about this, and I think kind of like you, it's not linear. It's not one or the other. It's kind of fluid, depending on where you are. So probably up until like this week, I found myself innovative. I found myself, thinking about everything that's going on and just being really mindful and prayerful about what people are dealing with. But I'll be honest, this week I have been feeling just a little bit weary. And it's because my children are in school, and thankfully Georgia's wrapping up earlier than the rest of a lot of other places. Like, my children only have 2 weeks left. And I'm telling you, I'm an educator, but I'm like, Lord, please let these days go by as quickly. Girl, because I'm like having conference calls and they're running in all day, or I have to go help them, and they're beautiful. They're amazing children. So it's not at all a complaint about them, but it's a lot. It's a lot trying to be mom, teacher, and all the other things that go with it. So I'm feeling a little bit tired today.
I love that. It's so funny because I have one of my nieces, and she's a mom of 3 that are in school, and they're all like in grade school. And so she told them we're having a 6-month summer because she's like, I am not a teacher. And she works from home. Like, she has a full job where she's working 8 hours a day at home. And so she just doesn't have the time. So she said at night she's sleeping because she's exhausted. I love that. So Joya, you're on a midnight shift. You're working from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. So we know what keeps you up at night, but where are you emotionally regarding all of that?
I have insomnia. I have insecurities. I'm innovated. What else? I feel like I'm imaginary. I don't know. It's all of them. All the eyes. No, honestly, in the beginning of this, of course, because I work 7 to 7, 7 p to 7 a, so I can't have any insomnia. Sometimes I feel like, but whatever. Anywho, but I think for me now, this week, I think I I got my wave. I got in the wave, and I'm learning this groove. And so, like, while at work, after I do my rounds, I'm then able to get on the internet and read and research and different things like that. Mm-hmm. So this week really helped me out, because at first I was feeling kind of weary because I heard everyone like, come out of this on top and you're gonna be better. And I'm like, I feel the same. Right. like, what in the world? Like, what am I supposed to be coming out with? But I jumped into that groove, and so I'm riding this wave. So I really felt innovated this week. Thank the Lord. So I really want to take advantage of what we have, even just the opportunity that I have, because I'm up at night and everyone's asleep. I'm able to really focus, and I have that peace. So I wrote out goals and action plans and everything. So this week I really did. So pray my strength continues.
Let me say this, Joya Theresa, before you jump in. Girl, you look good. Because 2 weeks ago, you looked like you had some insomnia.
Let me tell you something.
You look like what you've been through.
You look like what you've been through, girl. But today, you look good.
I feel my help. Do you hear me? I feel my help. Okay.
That is so funny.
Oh my goodness. God, it knocked me out. I was like, what in the world? I told Theresa at one point, I was like, Father, I commit my soul, my spirit to
you. That's crazy. But that's amazing though. Like you're spending your time taking care of lives and saving folks, and we appreciate you for being in that position. Like, it's invaluable what you do, and like you have a heart for it. Like, that's a gift. That's a gift and a ministry, just to be able to work in that fashion and then have the heart to do it, one, and then we're praying for you and covering you all the time. But you're in this thing where you're with people, you're taking care of people who have tested positive for this, and so you have to be extremely careful. So we know that you're covered by the blood, but I'm grateful for those individuals, because I know you're praying for them while you're taking care of them, and they don't know that they're a nurse, an angel.
Have no idea. I'm like, I put my hand on them. I'm like, the blood of Jesus is against you, Satan. Come out.
Girl, you better pray. Take that blood pressure and pray. Right. Hey, Miss Dana.
Hey, y'all.
Hey, how you doing over there? I know you've been busy, because you've been doing everything. I see Dana, she's taught classes, and you must be up at night, because you teach during the day. You do Kids Corner for FCC. I know you're so busy, but what keeps you up at night?
I think it's a little bit of all three of those things. It's been, just insomnia. I'm just up. Why can't I go to sleep? I didn't even have coffee today. I'm just up. And then then it's a little bit of that, insecurity. It's like, am I ever going to do everything I want to do? Am I ever going to really fulfill all of God's promises in my life? Right. Is it going to happen? And then I get those flames of inspiration, and it's like, yes! And let's write a book, and let's edit a book, and let's teach some classes, and let's come up with some things, and let's make some money, and let's fix some relationships, and let's do everything. And
Dana, you're working too.
I did.
Right, it's true inspiration. I'm like, go Dana. Like, right. I champion you in everything you do.
Absolutely.
Because it has to be for the creatives. It's something. It's like a breeding time where it's like, God is stirring up the gifts. You know what I mean? Right. And so I thank God for that time, for people who are creatives, that you're not laying down like, oh, woe is me, and what are we gonna do tomorrow? But it's like, what can I do? It's like, for me, I'm laying there sleeping, thinking, oh, how can I make some more money? And so, of course, I've still been doing real estate. I've still been taking care of my clients, and still working for YLC, and even working for myself. And just recently, you guys know, I joined Forex and done foreign exchange trading. And so it's crazy because the London market opens at 3 a.m. So I have my alarm set, and it's so funny because I have the song Jump In, and it slowly starts playing as my alarm, and it's like, jump in, dun, 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 dun. I'm like, wake up, Theresa. But cool because I get an opportunity, and Joya knows because I'm like, girl, I'm trying not to go to sleep tonight so I can get up and trade and make some money. But it's like my whole pattern has shifted relative to what's my norm. Like I have to take a nap during the day, I can get it in so I can be up at night, even if it's just for a window of time. But things as they were before are no longer normal.
Right.
It's like I'm shifting and changing my my patterns, what I'm doing, just to shift to what's going on now, and it's working for me. I'm excited. Like I can't say that I wasn't worried at some point, because I do believe I think I was concerned. Like it wasn't so bad until I think people that I knew started getting sick. And then when that happened, like when it hit Michigan really bad, I started worrying. I can't even say that I wasn't. I was praying, but it was a heaviness that came on me at some point that was a little hard to shake off. And that may have kept me up at night. But we trust in God, some trust in horses, some trust in chariots, but we have to trust in the Lord. And so I think that for me, learning how to make that shift and adjustment, people aren't receptive to change anyway. Like, people just aren't receptive to change. And so those are the individuals who sometimes get stuck. And it's an emotional stuck or a psychological, I'm stuck and I can't move forward. But what would you ladies say is something? There's George. We love
George.
You too. Let me tell you, when this pandemic is over, I want a hug and I want a kiss on my cheek. I miss you, George, so much. But what would you ladies, what advice would you give to someone that is facing the insecurity part that's keeping them up at night, that's causing them to have insomnia? Dr. Matisa, let's go from your psychological standpoint.
I would just say, and I talked about this a little bit last week, the reality is life does hit us. And that's one of the things that God has been putting in my mind throughout this pandemic. Like, there are going to be some challenges that come to us. We're going to see death. That, like you said, there are people that I know now whose parent has passed away from complications of COVID. It's not removed. It's not just something that I'm seeing on television. We know people who is part of our YLC family who transitioned through this. So if we didn't know God before, and I'm not just trying to be churchy, but I'm telling you, if I didn't have God right now, I don't know what I would do. And I've not even experienced it. I'm not seeing what Joya has seen. I've not experienced what other people have experienced. And I would just say, for people who are insecure, you have got to, number one, find God as your source. But if it so happens that you're not a person of faith, you need to gather a support system around you. You need to talk through your emotions. You need to write down your emotions. You need to be able to get it out, because what the enemy wants and what could easily happen during this time is for isolation to be our destruction. Right? That we're alone with our thoughts, we're alone with our imaginations, and we're alone with our fears. We've got to disrupt fears with somebody who can speak faith. So I would say, if you don't have enough faith for yourself, we've got a collection of sisters here. We've got other people in our life that we can call and say, listen. And I'll be honest, I've had those moments, especially early on, like, this is tough. But when you have somebody who can speak faith to you, it can help fill you up.
Absolutely. I would piggyback on what Dr. Matisa is saying.
I love what you said about. Go ahead, Dana.
And get that system of accountability so that you don't feel so alone, so that you don't feel insecure. It's so important to have people in your corner. For example, I don't know about y'all, but I've been making more trips to this Frigidator than I care to, right?
Yes.
And I was like, you know what? I have to do something, because I don't want to start having all those insecurities about my weight, and my physical appearance and all that other stuff, I don't want to come out of this pandemic, looking like something that's going to be on the Macy's Thanksgiving Day Parade. So one of the things that I've been kind of doing to kind of stave that off is to kind of really find an accountability partner, somebody who's going to tell me, put that pint of Haagen-Dazs back and go take yourself on a lap around that neighborhood. But I think it's so important for whatever it is that you're feeling insecure about, whether it is your physical appearance, your spiritual standpoint, where you fit in the world, whatever it is, there's somebody in your life that you can count on to be that morale booster, to be that inspiration for you, to be your cheerleader, to really encourage you and push you into that place where you do feel secure in who you are.
That's good.
Yeah, I love that. And one thing Matisa said about you have to be a disruptor to those things and that's like a key word that I've always attached myself to, even when you do your post and you say, I'm a disruptor. And so it's like, I'm not going to allow the negative things that come that may, shift where I am. It's not going to be a disruptor to me. I'm going to disrupt what is trying to be an obstacle or prevent me from having that peace that I know that I need. I love that.
Yeah. I think for me, because I told you all that I had those insecurities. And so what I had to do, I had to write down me an action plan of what I wanted my life to be after this. The steps of what I wanted. So that's what helped me. I literally wrote down goals and action plan, because for me, what I could have done was said, well, I'm here. I'm going to just sleep this. When I'm not working, I'm just going to sleep. And that would have been like, oh, well, it's okay. You need rest. And I was like, no, I want to take full advantage of what the Lord has allowed me to encounter here. And I was just like, this is what I want. I want to be able to do this and this. I want my skin to glow even more, so I don't ever have to wear makeup anymore. I don't have to makeup right now, but I'm just saying, ever again. like those were the things that I was just like, no, I'm going to write me an action plan. So I would suggest, write down an action plan. Put it in front of you. Like the word of the Lord tell us, write it down, write the vision, make it plain. And then you have to make sure that you do submit it to God, because I can't remember what scripture talks about in Proverbs. Like if you give your plans to God, or you give your work to God, work to God, He'll work out those plans. And so that's what I did. Like I wrote my action in. I was like, God, this is what I want to do. And I need you to help me to be able to accomplish everything that in my mind I want to do and what you want me to do. So I would suggest get you an action plan, write those goals down, look at them every day, and see it until you say it. Say it until you see it.
I love that.
We know what you meant.
I love that.
You have an excuse, Joya. I was so surprised. I texted you at 1:30 this morning, and you were up.
Well, and what I love about that is, because I was thinking about it, I was like, y'all are the ones that stay up at night. I am not a night owl. I never, ever have been. So somebody might say, well, I'm not really up. Well, I wake up early. Like I might get up at 4:00 in the morning, or get up. When y'all are going to bed, I'm getting up in the morning, because that's when I'm the most creative. And that's when, so, don't feel like you have to be up all night and you're not creative if you're not that night owl. No, your best time to write might be in the afternoon. You might carve out a time at 1 p.m. and say, I'm going to write a plan. I'm going to be accountable. I'm going to get some people to be accountable to. But just make sure
that's good,
that those ideas that you have in your head, we got to get them out.
Got to get them out.
The thing about this is, y'all, God is still moving. God is still
talking.
Yeah.
So He's not stopping because of this pandemic. So that's why we know we can't stop.
Yeah.
Right. I love that. And you know what? And someone said that that was Dana. She's naturally a night owl. And I think I'm shifting to that. I do get my best work done. I get my best work done at night. Like after the whole world lays down and goes to sleep, I can send emails. You guys probably get stuff from me in the middle of the night because I am up working. But I'll never forget when I was, I don't even know what point I was in my life, but I used to wake up every night, like at 3:36 a.m. It was like the same time every morning. And so I mentioned to my mom, I was like, I cannot sleep. Like I keep waking up. And my mom was like, God wants you to talk to him. I'm like, all right, mommy. So it's like, but yes, you can pray. Take advantage of that time. And so it's not that, you have to be up with worry. You can be up with peace. and up with peace, praying for others. Be an intercessor. Like, well, I'm up right now, so let me pray for somebody else that may be going through the exact same thing. But I think that it's we're helpers one to another, and that's what I love about the connection that we have, just as women being together and having this tight knit community. If Matisa was asleep, I know I could call her at 3 a.m. I need her to get up and pray with me. But you have to have, I think, just a circle. I'll call you when Joya, you should be working, so you shouldn't be taking any phone calls in the middle of the night. So, but I think that it's very important to have people that you can go to. If you're a night owl, get up and make it, make new innovative things. And so let's talk about that. Like, what can we do with this the restlessness that we have? What type of what things can be birthed out of that? Because God stirs up the gifts, but he gives us witty ideas, he gives us inventions. And I think George, he knows that we're working because he's doing this foreign exchange with me. And so we are up between 11 p.m. and 2 a.m. trying to make it happen. And so that's, for me, that's something that is innovative. It's a new business for me. So I'm excited about that. But I believe that you can take advantage of this discomfort or this unrest or the new schedules. And I would even ask our audience, like, what are some of the things that you're doing as a result of this shift and the things that keep you up at night? How are you like tackling that? What is your go-to?
Mm-hmm.
And I'll pose that question to any of the ladies. Like, what is your go-to, or what can you say will be birthed out of this? We always keep talking about, we're coming out of this stronger. We're coming out of this better. We're definitely coming out of it different. So what are you doing to make sure that this shift is not disrupting us, but we're disrupting what has come to throw us off our axis?
Mm-hmm. Well, I'll just say, for me, I'm working on something that I'm not gonna completely reveal it, but it has come out of some of the suffering and things that I see, because that's the thing that really keeps me up at night. Like, I love, y'all know, I'm a prayer warrior. I love to pray for people. That's a privilege that I feel like I have, to be able to pray for people. And I've gotten so many people who just, I don't even know them, just inbox me, can you pray for this, and that? And of course, of course, people I know and I love for sure, but people that just randomly inbox me, and we're all prayer warriors.
Wow.
So it's not that I'm any different than anybody else, but that is just a passion and a burden that I have. And so God has been dealing with me to work on something that will be a blessing to people who are dealing with loss and grief and things like that. So to your point, when you see a need, it's not just all the time that you pray, but God is like, no, pray, and then create some tools that will be important for people throughout this process.
Right.
So that's one thing that I've been doing.
I love that. Dana or Joya?
During this time, I have really been, especially because I came here and I'm dealing with the people that are sick and different things like that. So, like, I plan on having you, and everyone connected to me, like health plans, what type of food y'all need to eat, what type of minerals and essential oils and all of that. Like, I am working for real. And so, like, that's what I've really been focusing on. What is it that we need? What is it that our body really does need to respond to? Like, everyone, because you know how some people are allergic to certain things, but certain things in the world or in the earth we can all have, and it's beneficial to everyone. So I'm like finding. So I plan on having everybody that I'm connected to a health plan, health regimen, and different things like that by the time we're out of this. Yeah,
that's good.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think this time has really forced me to kind of like try to multiply all the talents. I love how we have consistently received that teaching about the Lord investing a talent in you and like, what are you going to do with it? I have found myself becoming more and more resourceful, and the things that I've had to do for myself, I've learned to do for others and then been able to monetize it. Now, I'm not the best graphic artist in the world, but I could do you a flyer right quick. I've been I've been consulting with people on how to set up their technology and all of these wonderful things. So like, it's kind of forced me into a place of, I guess, not wasting the time, because ordinarily I would want to, even though I'm a natural night owl, I would love to stay up all night just watching Netflix and Little Fires Everywhere. I binge watched that show.
That's
Oh
a good
my
one.
God. But I decided to make myself be more productive. And, insomnia is not always a bad thing. Sometimes you do just need that time, because even I found, if I need to just turn my mind off, just staying up those extra hours just to kind of settle, it's okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's cool. I love that, because I believe there's going to be so much that's going to be birthed out of this. And I do believe that we're going to have a new normal, and we're going back to a different world. I believe church is going to be different. Church as we do it now is going to be different. Like, we'll still have, I believe, in-person services, but this has shown us that there's a whole community of individuals that you can touch via just the medium that we're on now. I believe that there is so many individuals who look for, an answer, and maybe it's not in the way that they normally received it. And so I do believe that it'll cause us to have to deliver our product differently. Maybe it's the same message, but maybe you deliver it differently. Even with health for Joya and healthcare, you're a hands-on profession, but even being able to deliver to us a health plan, or giving us information that will change the way we do things as it is today. So I believe that whether you're up right now for worry or wisdom or being weary or working, it's still something that we can channel to make it for our good. We know that the Bible says for all things work together for the good.
Right.
So I believe that all of this is coming together, and that we will be able to position ourselves, I think, to be more successful. Like, we've come through this. Like, for those of us who are making it through, we're through it. So we have this experience now on our, in our backpack or in our arsenal to say, I know that I can make it through that situation. It was daunting, even the thought of it, being on lockdown, like, what do we do? But I think we've all come out better. And so I think that, so another question I would even ask the audience, like, if what is it that keeps you from getting there? Because there is so much, I think I deal with my own self-doubt. It's nobody else has to even come to say, Theresa, maybe you can't do that. Sometimes it's me, and I'm preventing myself from moving forward. So what are some of the things that I think we face, or some of the things that you think are our oppositions in getting there or coming out on the other side of this successful?
Well, I know we're waiting on people. What I was going to say is, I think sometimes for me, I feel like everybody's doing it. First of all, we got to show some love to George D. Moore, who is showing us so much love right now.
I know, I love it.
Some George Moore.
They call him Machine.
Motivation.
Listen, motivation. He is, man. He's the epitome of somebody that you just want in your corner. It doesn't matter what you say. Now, he's for right, but whatever we say, he's celebrating us. So we're thankful for that.
Love you, George.
But I will say this. I actually had to unfollow somebody today. And the reason I unfollowed them, and I don't do that often, I don't ever do that. Well, I want to tell you why. I won't tell you why. That's for another show. But let me just say this. One of the things that I'll just leave that right there. I'll tell y'all off camera. But one of the things is, when you're looking on social media, it looks like everybody is doing something or the same thing, right? And if you're not confident in your own unique gifts, and the fact that there are people who are assigned to your voice, I think in this season, it can stop you, because everybody's got a book. Everybody's doing a webinar now. Everybody's doing prayer. Everybody's doing, whatever it is that you feel like you're doing. A lot of people are doing it. And so for me, at first I was like, I'm just going to chill. I'm really not going to do much. I'm just going to kind of work what I'm doing. And then God was like, no, the same unique giftings you had before the pandemic are the same unique giftings that you have during the pandemic. And the people who are going to be on Dana's webinar and who are going to gain so much. Some Joya might do a webinar on writing books, and somebody else will be attracted to the way Joya does it. God is going to give us what is supposed to be for us, right? And so for me, that's the thing that I had to get out of my mind, because when I see everybody doing stuff, I'm like, do we need another blah, blah, blah? But the answer is yes. We don't need another. We need yours.
I love that you said that, Matisa, because that's actually something George was saying last night on our writing podcast. He said, you have an audience. It doesn't matter if, someone else is writing a book, just like you said, if someone else is doing a webinar, because I've had that same thing. I was like, everybody got a book on it, everybody doing this, everybody's doing that, but they're not doing it the way I do. And I was thinking about that too, as I was thinking about, like my KTU retreats. I was like, everybody doing single stuff. Like, I'm about sick of single stuff, but nobody does what I do. No one provides what I do.
Yeah.
And no one can deliver it the way I do. And there is an audience that is called specifically to you. It goes back to that. I think years ago, Bishop Bruce Riley told me, because I was so ready to just give up on everything. I don't even know what it was. But he's like, but whose cry do you hear? There's a cry that you hear that you cannot let it go, no matter what, no matter how much you try to say, well, there are other people who can hear that cry too. No, but who do you keep hearing? And you have to respond to them.
Right.
That's good.
I think about that inspirational quote that tells you, like, if you feel like it's too many or if it's oversaturated, go walk down the bread aisle in the grocery store.
Right.
Because there's so many different
20 million brands of bread. Yep.
Yeah,
Right.
and everybody's still making that bread. So, like, you feel like, oh, it's already there. Who needs this? Oh, they've already got it. No, somebody needs you. Like Dana said, who cried to you? Like, everyone doesn't have that tune to the cry of a single mother or tune to the cry of someone that does want to write inspirational books. Like, I think, I can read a book, but there's no way that I can tell you, like, this is exactly what you need to do. I can pick it up. I can work on
You can read
it today. So, like, yeah, you feel overwhelmed. You feel like, oh, it's oversaturated. Walk down that grocery aisle, that bread aisle, but have a mask on.
So many.
You don't have gloves on, but just have a mask on when you're walking down the aisle in the grocery store.
Stay safe when you're doing it. Yeah.
Right.
Don't eat every pack of bread.
Open up the different bread. Cross contaminate. We do have to do that.
Oh, somebody said that they somebody made a comment that they worry about the opinions of others, and that's one thing I'm learning how to shut out is the opinions of others, because I don't know that this has been a more self-inflection. Like, I'm looking at myself like, Theresa, you get your life together. What is it that you're doing? And you have to block out anybody's opinions of you, or even, whether they think you can do it or not. You have to really become your own amen corner. You have to be like David and encourage yourself and say that you can do it. And so, and I love what you said, even Joya and Dana, about being able to go out there and even you can doubt yourself, or you can question maybe what it is, but you have to push through that.
That's
and
right.
there's so much money to be made. Like, I don't think that there's any one person that's successful that stopped and listened to somebody say you can't make it or you can't do it. I think they use that as fuel, as now I know I'm going to have to. I have to push through this.
Right.
I use it as becoming like it's fuel.
Right.
I was gonna say no.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say that's beautiful, because it made me think about our founder, our amazing, leader, Mark Moore.
Yeah.
And most of us,
So
you were there at ground zero.
Right.
Others of us came on early. We all work with this family. And let's just stop and say what an amazing job he did with even the decision of moving YLC, and now we're having the praise break. Can we just give God thanks for him?
Yeah.
It takes a leader with that kind of wisdom to lead. But I was thinking about how when he first started, and Theresa, you can speak to this. I mean, there might not have been people doing conferences like his, but there were people doing conferences.
Yeah.
But he just kept on, and God grew it because he knew what God told him to do.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Theresa, you were there.
Right. I want to say this too, that even if you have like the people in your corner, you can't let the people who are trying to push you into something that's not for you. Exactly. Because there's so many people who try to encourage you to do this and yeah, you could do it, and you be active at that. That's not where you should be.
It's not for you.
It's not for you. And as much as you love their encouragement, as much as you love their enthusiasm, and thank you for your faith in me, that's not for me. I can't do that.
Right.
That's why when everybody was like, you should be creating this and you should be doing this and not blah, blah, blah.
Right.
That might be true for you, but give me a minute and let me breathe and think about what I'm supposed to be doing. Because the reality is, if God didn't give me the vision, he's not obligated to make it come to pass.
Right. Right.
Mark said, let's talk about something else. All right, T, we moved on.
Wait, what are you talking about that past company?
Right. Let's move on.
And you know what? I had to tell myself, like, Joya,
he says it's too soon. It's too soon.
Too
soon, right? I told myself, like, Joya, you're gonna have to do it scared. Because I am a scary Mary, like hands down. I am afraid of everything. Y'all tell me to pray, I'm about to pass out. Anything I gotta do, I'm afraid. But I told myself, like, no, you have to do it scared. And you don't have to always come out appearing to be strong. Because our strength is not within ourselves, it's within God. So, like, at this point, you know, I told myself, like, hey, you don't have to appear to be strong. Like, your strength is, you're dependent all on God. But I know it's frightening for me. For me, it's frightening to do anything. It's frightening. Like that's my stop. That's my obstacle that I have to talk to myself all the time and encourage myself in the Lord and all of that great stuff. I'm always afraid. I'm frightened. Like, oh my God, terrified. But I was like, no, this season, you're just gonna have to do it scared. You're just gonna have to do it scared.
Yes.
Yeah. And I think people often confuse like bravery or courage as like being the lack of fear, but it's really doing it in spite of the fear. Like you're doing it scared every step of the way. And then when you get to the end, you're like, I made it. And then you look back and see all the people you brought along with you.
Right.
Can I ask you all this? Have anybody or have you all during this pandemic felt more of an urgency because you just don't know what your time is on earth? Has your mortality come into it at all when you think about, and I don't mean fear of death. That's not what I'm saying at all. But what I am saying is people who felt like they had 30 years to do whatever God gave them, maybe they didn't have that at all.
Yep. I'll say this, because the guy from our YLC community, I remember him from last year. And he said, I'll see you next year. And it, like every time I think about it, like it just breaks me down. And so I'm just like, oh my gosh, like we are not promised tomorrow. So that is playing quickly, Matisa. Give it to me.
Listen, the thing guy can't be afraid of talking about death. I'm just saying for some
right. Work while it's day for real. And like how Dana talked about the talents. Like I don't want to go and bury my talent. Like I gotta, we gotta work while it is day. We have to work while it's day. So yes, that's on my mind as well, Matisa. But it did escalate quickly. You made me start crying. Thank you. I gotta go now.
That wasn't my intention, but I'm glad it's in your mind that you got to do what you got to do. Yeah,
you got to do what you got to do.
I think it's something worth thinking about. If you don't talk about it, you think about it because it's going to happen. It's a part of reality. Whether we face it or not, or talk about it or not, it's a part of our reality.
That's right. And the only reason I say that, not even to make it a churchy sort of conversation, but I know for myself, it's so easy to put stuff off. You're like, okay, God, you've given me this idea, but I can do it once this is done. Right. And sometimes you do have to prioritize. But I do believe that for me in this pandemic, God has just been impressing upon me, whether I live 50, 80 years, I'm going to be like my pastor. I'm going to live till I'm satisfied, right? So I'm going to live till I'm 100 something, whatever, and I'm going to be in good health and in good mind.
Right.
But I don't want to bury what God is telling me to do in this season. Because some things God is telling us to do, he's not telling us for 20 years from now. He's saying right now.
Yeah. Now.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Teresa's mama. I was gonna say it about being rapture ready too. That's my amen corner right there. That one and this one between Mommy and Boomer. And he's getting all kind of issues now that I'm on the air. He can't be seated. He wants me to pick him up. But I think that it's we have to work while it is day. We have to make what it is that we have now, because one thing I have learned, if God gives you something to do and you don't do it, somebody else is coming right around the corner with that same thought, that same idea. Like you can't sleep on anything because somebody else is going to do it. Somebody will have your idea, and if you don't do it, somebody will do it better than you. So I think that we take what it is that we have. And like Joya said, I'm not going to take my talent and bury it. I'm going to try to make it multiply. I'm going to try to do more with it. And all you have to do is ask God to help you. It's just like, Lord, this is what you've given me. Help me to make it. Boomer is the mascot of YLC. Shout out to our founder, Ella Martin. Look, he's all over the place. But I think that we really have to use what it is we have and multiply it, make it even better. Because even for us, before this all happened, it's been a few times that we've gotten together. I think our first All Things New generated out of a conversation. We were like, hey, let's take the time. And it's just, there are so many people. You look at Red Table Talk. I think that's the name of it. Like, we could have said, somebody's doing it already. We're not doing it. Right. But we have our own audience of people, and we have individuals who need to hear what it is that we are saying. So I think that you look at that and say, where do I fit in? Who is my audience? Because my audience may be different from yours, and we have the exact same product, but it hindrance as much as I think it should be a motivation. Wanda said it earlier too. She was looking at what people weren't doing and was like, I'm gonna do that. And good. So anything that you think of that's a need for you is going to be a need for somebody else.
That's good.
I like that too. Maximize what you have in the season while you have the time to do it.
That's good.
That's awesome.
That's right.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Try not to have my dog die over here. But so Anita, I agree with that wholeheartedly. Take those talents, give them to someone else with your vision if you're not going to do it. But I know that God has given us those things, and he can stir up the gift within us. And it's a simple prayer to pray. I believe that when we all come together, we pray for the movement of a vision, but we have our own visions, our own missions that we're doing that we have to push forward ourselves. And sometimes it comes to a point where I know what God gave me. I know what God gave me. And whether anybody else believes I can do it or not, if it's just me and my mama, I know that I can do it. But you have to have your own sense of I know that I can make it. And then I think it's still important to have that community around you that supports you. Like we look at, and Mark probably wouldn't want me to say it, but even back to YLC, we're a community. And it's not so much collaboration. I mean, it's not so much competition as it is collaboration. Mm-hmm. And so I think that once you're around other people who are innovative, who are creative, they also cause you to, like, oh, you know what? I can do this as well. And so I think it's important. It's important.
But those are the people that you need around you too, right? Because you're going to have all kinds of naysayers, all kinds of people who tell you how unqualified you are. But you just need somebody that you have to believe in yourself as well. But you just need somebody to tell you, go ahead, girl. Like, even if in their minds, you're like, I don't know how in the world she's going, I don't know how she's going to make that happen. But because I believe in you, I'm going to push you. Those are the people that you want around you.
And I think we all have that amongst each other. Like we all have that. That's a blessing. Thank God for that within each other, our sisterhood, that we were able to look and y'all telling, we be texting and sending pictures and what you think? Go, girl. Yeah, that's great. Like, girl, I don't know how she gonna do that. It's great.
That's awesome.
Not Theresa though. Theresa will be the first person to tell you, you can't do that. You can't wear that. Don't eat that.
I'm just honest and
honest.
Wait.
I'm gonna tell you too.
So Dana, tell us where do each of us fit in this group? I want to know what your thoughts are.
Wait, what?
I love what Wanda
Teresa's
said.
the one that will say anything. Come on, tell us. Tell the people.
So, Theresa is the one who would tell us what we can't do. Don't do that. Oh, don't do that.
I think that, and we have very honest dialogue.
Matisa is our taskmaster. She's the one who keeps us on task, on point, on focus. If we get to having a little bit too much chitter chatter over here, she's going to rein us in. Now focus.
Right.
our little ray of sunshine. She's our little baby.
Yeah.
She's our little baby we worry about. She out there in these COVID streets. We trying to teach her how to cook. She's just like all our little babies.
Yikes. Tell me how you really feel. Irresponsible adult around here. Jeez.
We know you think you're grown, Joy, but you're just our little baby.
I'll take it.
You are a little ray of sunshine. You are a little joy of our lives. And I don't know. I feel like I'm just a goofball.
You are.
You are not a goofball.
Dana, you bring good ideas though. You bring good ideas to the group. Yeah.
Right. You're that all around person. Like people probably wouldn't know that you can be goofy.
Right.
But you are the one, you're a hard worker and you are the one, you bring really good ideas.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would agree with that. And what
Dana is always successful too.
We all have we have girlfriends even outside of this group. But I just feel like God fitly joined all of us together because we can be all the things described. I think we can all be each of those things.
Right.
And God just put us together for such a time as this. And I'm grateful. So I just want to say that for you all for being such a great sister circle. And, I appreciate you.
And it makes us stronger.
Y'all appreciate me too?
Yeah.
Sometimes
we appreciate you. We love you. It's like we appreciate you.
But it's sharp. Iron sharpens iron. We make each other better. I think because of our unique personalities and what we bring, we have strengths, we have weaknesses, we build each other up, but iron sharpens iron. And I'm not going to be successful and you not be successful.
Right.
Matisa's not going to make it. And like your inspiration of what you're doing causes me to want to do more. And I think that, you're strong because of the people that you have around you. And I thank God for my sister circle. And I know you ladies out there, you have your strong circle, the people that you can depend on, but they don't make, I don't think we all do the same thing. I think different things inspire us. I think different things drive us to what we want to have. And we even have different approaches to our philosophical thoughts on even what we talked about today, or being, having insecurities, being innovative, or even just what we worry about. But I do believe it's the unique fiber that ties us all together. It makes us work.
Yeah, that's right.
And I let me let you guys I can't believe we've been on this long, but I'm going to let you guys wrap up with just a final thought before we say goodbye. I'll start with Joya.
I just want to say, just be encouraged. Don't look to the left, don't look to the right, just look to the heels. Lean on God for your and keep moving.
Come on, look to the heels.
I ain't a preacher, but don't.
Talking about ideas, okay.
Right. Dana?
I would just say celebrate the moments of your life. I know that sounds like is that a coffee commercial? But like honestly, this but like seriously, celebrate the moments of your life. Celebrate the people that you have in your life. So if you're up at night, be up at night thinking about ways that you can love on the people who are in your immediate circle. And I promise you this: if you sow love, you'll receive it. In fact, I don't promise you, God promises you. Whatever you sow, that's what you're going to reap. So sow that love.
Amen.
That's good.
That was beautiful.
Matisa.
I would just say, just do it. Get your networks, sow love, do all of that. But God is giving you some ideas. Stop asking if somebody else is supposed to do it. You're the one. Mm-hmm. Whatever that idea is, get your plan, write it down, and go.
Nah.
I love it.
I love it. And I would wrap up by saying, let whatever keeps you up at night fuel you for your next day. So take advantage of whatever it is. That's tweetable. Y'all know I'll give one good tweetable before we go. Whatever keeps you up at night, fuel you for your next day. And just remember, this is collectively from all of us ladies, just remember after this pandemic that God is going to make all things new. Bye, guys. Have an amazing day. Enjoy your weekend. Thank you for this, Mark. We couldn't be here without you. I know you don't want us to say it, but Mark. We love you. Thank you.
We love you. Bye.
He's going to kill us.
Right.
All right, guys.
Bye,
Bye, guys.
guys.